In 2026, how long does it take for an ordinary person without background or education to earn their first million by themselves? If I tell you it only takes 1 year at most, would you think I'm bragging or even think I'm going to sell courses? Sorry to disappoint you, but there will be no marketing in my short videos. Moreover, this method is completely different from what you might hear in 99% of short videos. I'm sharing a methodology I summarized from my own experience for free. I started from scratch, going from an initial monthly income of 2,000 yuan to a 7-figure monthly income, from buying my first car to the third one, and from a £180 fat guy to £125 through working out. This is a real case. And I believe this methodology of mine applies to any grassroots person relying on pure kanko, dry goods, meaning practical and useful content, rather than luck. If you need to re-watch and summarize later, you can save the video first. Taking myself as an example, I stumbled into the entertainment live streaming industry in 2020. At that time, I was just a wage slave, but I've had a tough and striving spirit since I was a kid. It's impossible to make a lot of money by working for others, because when I was in junior high school, my dad asked me a question. When you grow up, do you want to work in a government unit or do business? I didn't hesitate at all and told him directly that I wanted to do business. Actually, at such a young age, I had no concept of money. The only thought at that time was that the process of doing business, being on the move and living everywhere, seemed very challenging to me. So at the end of 2020, I resigned and chose to go solo. At this time, I had no platform resources or help from the company, so I had to do everything by myself. What are the 3 most important things you need to do when you want to go solo? The first step, where 99% of people make mistakes, is to always remember that choosing a good track is far more important than your own hard work. What is a good direction? I think 3 conditions are indispensable. You are interested in it, it has market prospects, and it hasn't been monopolized by giants. Why do I emphasize that you need to be interested? The logic is the same as when we were in school. For example, I was good at English since I was a kid and was biased towards it, so I loved learning it very much and was willing to spend time and energy proactively. This is the driving force, how to find a promising and unsaturated field. First, I think it's very valuable to keep a childlike innocence and curiosity. To put it bluntly, don't be too lazy. In this era, there are many channels and ways to learn about projects. We shouldn't always stay in the comfort zone of our current industry. I think we should spend some time paying attention to fields we haven't paid attention to before, then understand and learn about them. After developing this habit, you will soon develop business insight and a keen sense. Even though information is now open, I still believe that most businesses still have information asymmetry issues. If you haven't been exposed to it, you can't make money from it. The second step, after finding a project you love and that you think has a blue ocean market, you need to spend time delving into it. What does delving mean? It means you need to have a craftsmanship spirit. Don't always think about getting rich overnight. It means you need to master the thing thoroughly, to the point where you think you are at least in the top 20% of the industry. In fact, money is not earned by how hard you work, it's actually a byproduct. When you are capable enough in this field, and when you take something to the extreme, money will come naturally. If your understanding of this field increases by even 1% every day compared to yesterday, after a year, your ability will be 37.8 times what it was at the beginning of the year. This compound interest thinking will make the returns become very terrifying as time goes by. The third step, finally, stop all your ineffective social interactions. You can also understand it as working in seclusion. Think about those people around you who eventually succeed. Haven't they had a year or two where they seem to have evaporated? Maybe you used to hang out a lot, but suddenly they disappeared, either to take the civil service exam or to start a business. Such people have a very strong sense of purpose. In fact, before you have substantial results, most of your social interactions are just exchanging emotions, not value. You spend time meeting someone, and apart from a momentary happiness, you actually get nothing. So going back to our original question, how to earn $1 million in 2026? The answer is not in any specific project, but in yourself. This path is not romantic, and it can even be very boring. Trends change every year, but I think this methodology will never be outdated. When we have developed business acumen and a work methodology, wealth will just come naturally.